Democratic Socialist Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is catching more blame than any other politician for Amazon's decision to abandon a planned headquarters opening in New York City. In a Siena College poll, 38% of voters from the state of New York picked the 29-year-old lawmaker as the story's biggest villain. Just 12% praised her American Samoa hero. Amazon itself wore the goat horns just 26% of the time. The bad news for the Democratic Party's socialist wunderkind comes at a time when her own poll numbers are sinking in dramatic fashion. Ocasio-Cortez celebrated the Amazon pullout and, with it, 25,000 jobs. She objected to $2.8 billion in tax breaks the online retail giant was to receive. Backers of the jobs plan pointed out that the long-term tax receipts could have reached $27 billion, about 9 times as much as the giveaways to the company Jeff Bezos built. Today was the day a group of dedicated, everyday New Yorkers and their neighbors defeated Amazon's corporate greed, its worker exploitation and the power of the richest man in the world, Ocasio-Cortez tweeted in a February victory lap. New Yorkers see it differently. While some may have celebrated Amazon's announcement to pull the plug, the vast majority of New Yorkers of every stripe thought it was bad for the Empire State, Siena College pollster Stephen Greenberg said Monday. By a wide margin, New Yorkers would support the deal coming back together. There is an overwhelming feeling that its cancellation was bad for the state, he added. Ocasio-Cortez's public approval rating nosedived between September and February, according to poll data the Gallup organization released on Friday. Significantly more Americans recognize the Democratic Congresswoman's name since a combination of socialism and shoe leather catapulted her to stardom with a 2018 Democratic primary win over a 10-term incumbent. Just 21% of American adults told Gallup's pollsters last month that they didn't know who Ocasio-Cortez was. That number was 50% in September, before she coasted to victory in the general election. But the more people recognize her, the less they like what they hear. The number of people who have unfavorable views of the 29-year-old lawmaker from New York has grown far faster in Gallup surveys than her fan base. Ocasio-Cortez won a favorable rating from 24% of Americans in Gallup's September poll, compared with 26% who disagreed. Those numbers both grew by February, to 31% favorable and 41% unfavorable. That means the proportion her detractors have grown by 15% while her backers grew just 7%. The Democratic Socialist wunderkind has more admirers than opponents among non-whites, women, Americans age 18 to 35 and self-identified Democrats. Every other demographic is against her. That may not matter in 2020, since she represents an exceedingly liberal New York City district and won her 2018 primary by organizing those same groups. As her spotlight moments give moderate Democrats more and more to cringe about, however, she could find herself facing her own primary challenger next summer. Of the 7 controversial statements poll at effect. Comms researchers have evaluated, they gave Ocasio-Cortez either false or pants on fire ratings for 5. Another was considered half true. In one case, she claimed the Military had lost or misspent $21 trillion, concluding that the Pentagon has squandered two-thirds of the cost of the socialized medicine plan she favors. That number was dramatically out of scale with an agency whose average budget is 25 times smaller. In another, she claimed U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement was required to keep a minimum of 34,000 people in its detention centers every night. Federal law actually says ICE must maintain 34,000 beds in case it needs that many. She also claimed America's unemployment rate is at a historic low because everyone has two jobs. Unemployment is low because people are working 60, 70, 80 hours a week and can barely feed their family. The average work week for a full-time U.S. employee is hovering at around 34.5 hours, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. And only about 5% of Americans in the workforce hold down more than one job. Last month, Ocasio Cortez raised eyebrows nationwide when she asked whether runaway climate change meant it was not okay to still have children, calling concern about perpetuating the human race a legitimate question.